so the notion that somehow recruiting and sourcing is the exact same thing is completely off. And I think it's to a certain degree, I suppose, understandable that some, if not most organizations don't really understand the concept of sourcing, or to take it even a step further, the concept of strategic sourcing. Now, we all know that sourcing is a fundamental piece to recruiting. It's one of the very first things you learn when you're learning how to be a recruiter, how to be in talent acquisition, is you learn how to source. Now, you may not learn right away how to do advanced search operators. You may not learn right away how to do advanced boolean searches, x-ray searches. You may not learn how to do fancy x-ray search strings and add industry to it, college degrees minus this, minus that. Okay, you don't learn all that when you're doing recruiting for the first time. But sourcing in itself is a fundamental piece of recruiting. And a recruiter should never stop sourcing. It's just what it is. Now, you take it a level further than that, and when we talk about strategic sourcers and strategic sourcing, that's when you get into more of an individual who's specialized in sourcing, right? A strategic sourcer who's very, very specialized in sourcing. My opinion is a strategic sourcer has to be able to do advanced search operators. You have to be able to do your customized search engines. You have to be able to do your x-ray searches, right? You have to have all those tools at your disposal, and you have to be able to play around with these search strings in order to find what you're looking for. Additionally, that's not where it stops. If you're just one of those geeky sourcers who, again, I geek out on sourcing all the time, and I geek out on these strings and different things to find the candidates that we're looking for. But that's not where it stops. As a strategic sourcer, you've got to be able to know and understand how to read the data that you find. So analyze the market, okay? Pull, generate reports, whether you've got Talent Neuron, whether you've got LinkedIn Search Insights, or whether you do your own reporting according to the own research that you're doing. When you're x-raying into LinkedIn, Stack Overflow, GitHub, or when you're using Bing, whatever it is that you're going to use, a strategic sourcer has to be able to analyze that data, everything that comes together, and then you provide that information to the recruiter and or the hiring manager, because a strategic sourcer is a true business partner, both not just to recruiting, but also to the business unit, right? So you have to be able to have that communication between yourself and the hiring managers, not just the recruiters. So you gather all the data and all the information, and then you go back to the business unit or the recruiter and you report on it. You let them know, hey, this is what I'm finding in the market. And being able to really pick that information apart, break it down, provide it in a user-friendly manner for the business unit. I think especially for the business unit, more so than recruiting, because the business unit is going to benefit from it a lot more. If you're providing them with the right information, you're letting them know, hey, you've got to change this job title. This job title is not going to attract the right type of candidate that you're looking for. The job description may have exactly what you'd want, but a candidate, when he or she is looking for the job, they're usually looking for the job title first, right? They're not looking for keywords within the job description like we are when we're sourcing. So you have to have the right job title. And how do you get that information to the hiring managers, to the business unit? By doing your homework. As a strategic sourcer, you run these x-ray searches or advanced search operators, whatever it is you do. Okay, you find the reports. You find that most of these people, most of these integration engineers, really, there's very limited amount of people that call themselves a submarine integration engineer, when in reality all you're looking for is a systems administrator with Linux experience. So in the job title, put systems administrator, and you report back to that hiring manager, and you tell the hiring manager, hey, look, what I'm seeing is most of these folks have job titles of systems administrator. They are found in this location. Most of them have this type of degree. And a lot of them that are in the market right now are mid-level, at 6 to 10 year level of experience. I'm finding that most of these junior folks are not in the market, and most of the senior level folks, 10 plus years, perhaps maybe looking to move on an upward, maybe looking for upward mobility. So they're not looking to stay as systems administrator. They may be looking to go up, right? So target the mid-level range, and this is what the market is dictating as far as salary. All of that is what a strategic sourcer does, in addition to finding the prospects, the candidates that can fill the requisitions. Now, also additionally, what you want to do as a strategic sourcer is you want to have that pipeline. And in order to build a solid pipeline, I think what we have to do is what we have to do in order to build that solid pipeline is have the time to invest into it. And so therefore you can't have a strategic sourcer with 15, 20, 30 plus recs where he or she is really dependent upon filling these requisitions. That's just not what a strategic sourcer should be doing, and that's not how a strategic sourcer should be utilized. Um, the strategic sourcer has to have time to run these reports, provide the data, analyze the data, and then provide the report to the team. They have to be able to invest the time in pipelining. So pipelining doesn't just mean source for those skill sets that the firm or the organization is really looking for, or they may know that they're going to have a need, let's say in 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, for those organizations that really plan ahead, and then they become a proactive talent acquisition team versus a reactive talent acquisition team. So that's where your strategic sourcers come in hand. They allow your organization to go from reactive to being proactive, so they can really develop that pipeline. And developing the pipeline again doesn't mean just sourcing for these individuals. It means actually contacting these individuals, building some sort of rapport with them. Okay, now while you're speaking with these folks, let's say I'm looking for an FPGA engineer, right? Well, I didn't know what the hell an FPGA engineer was before I started looking for them. So I did my homework. I started researching. I started going to YouTube, Google, Bing, looking up what they do, what it stands for, where are they? So I find these people. Finally found a good candidate, very, very good, solid candidate. I got him on the phone, spoke with him, said, hey, Tony, let me ask you a question. You guys are impossible to find. Now, I can find an FPGA engineer all day long, but once I start looking for that cleared FPGA engineer, it's a damn near impossibility. What's up? Like, why is it? What are your thoughts on that? Or do you agree with me or not? What are you seeing? And so he starts telling me. This is literally something that happened. True story. He starts telling me that the FPGA in the cleared arena only happened in the last 5 years, as far as he knows, and it really started to take off in the last 2 years or so. And so a lot of these FPGA engineers, there aren't many cleared FPGA engineers, and those that do exist may not necessarily be in the market. And so these are the things that a strategic sourcer can get for you. In addition to what comes of the sourcing piece of it, become a true business partner.